So lately, for some unknown reason, there has been a lot of talk about how we might not get another round-based zombies map within Call of Duty. And now I don't know where this has come from, because I've never thought that. Not seeing the Modern Warfare 3 reveal did I think, oh no, this is the end of round-based. Not when Vanguard was relevant did I think we're never going to get another round-based zombies map. Even when Cold War finished with Forsaken, and through about half of that game's life cycle when we had Outbreak, a lot of people were thinking, well, Outbreak is going to become the future of zombies. This is the end of round-based zombies as we know it. And at the moment, this talking point has been brought up again, but I don't really know why, because, well, when you just stop and think about it, that's never going to happen. Whatever alternate modes we have in COD, whether it be Outbreak or this what we're seeing in MW3, which is DMZ/Outbreak, we've had other modes prior to that. Grief, Turned, round-based is always going to be the core of zombies. The only reason why we're not getting it this year is because Treyarch don't have enough time to make round-based maps. It takes between 3 to 4 to 5 months to create a round-based zombies map. From Treyarch themselves, they've said that. We know that Treyarch have had a limited time to create MW3 zombies, so they simply just don't have time to create separate round-based maps for this game, which is why we don't have it and why we have whatever this is, because it's a lot simpler for them to do. It's a lot easier with the time restraints that they're under. That's also why we didn't see round-based zombies at the beginning for Vanguard, or much at all really, because again, remember, Vanguard was Sledgehammer's game. Treyarch came in late on, and they had, I don't know the specifics exactly how long to work on Vanguard zombies, but I'm just going to say as a rough guess, 6 months. So to create the mechanics and round-based maps, they would have been very short on time. Technically, turning Duran Fang into a round-based map instead of whatever it turned out to be probably would have been easier. I think what they were trying to do more there was experiment, but that quickly went wrong. People were angry, people complained, and as we saw as we went on through these seasons or the DLC cycle, Treyarch went back to round-based maps for Shinonuma and the Archon. So yes, that was a mistake, and for Cold War Zombies, which is when all of this talk started really, the only reason why that game had less round-based content than what we'd usually get, because it had Die Maschine, Firebase C, Mauertoten and Forsaken. That's 4 round-based zombies maps compared to BO3's, which had 6 throughout its normal cycle, disregarding Zombies Chronicles. Black Ops 4 had 8 round-based zombies maps, so Cold War definitely was a drop-off, only having a total of 4. But there was an excuse there because, again, like Vanguard and like MW3 zombies, Treyarch were limited for time. You might or might not know, Cold War was originally Sledgehammer's game, it wasn't Treyarch's. Again, I don't know the exact time frame, but Treyarch may have had a year to work on Cold War Zombies, which, considering it takes 3 to 4 months to make a map, is a decent amount of time. But instead, to replace the lack of round-based maps, we got Outbreak. As we saw from Outbreak and Cold War, it's just so much easier for the developers to make. They don't have to make zombie-specific maps, so that cuts out months of work just creating a map for zombies when they can take it from the Battle Royale mode, Warzone, or in that case, the Fireteam maps. It is just a lot easier for Treyarch to make. So even then, seeing that we were getting more Outbreak content than round-based in Cold War, people were wondering, was that the end? But still, I was never saying that, and when you stop and think about it, the only reason why we got more Outbreak than round-based was because of lack of time. And that's been a thing that Treyarch have had to put up with for the past 3 games. Cold War wasn't their game, they had to step in. Vanguard wasn't their game, they've had to step in. And Modern Warfare 3 wasn't their game, they've had to step in. Every other game was fully Treyarch's, and you can see as a result of that, we've gotten a ton of round-based content in them. So considering that 2024 is when Treyarch's next game is going to be releasing, and they've had, I think, 3 to 4 years to work on that, which is a lot of development time compared to what they've been getting recently. They've been working on COD 2024 ever since Black Ops Cold War released. That's the standard for every Call of Duty game. When Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward released one of their Call of Duties, pretty much not soon after the release date, they begin working on their next title. So because Cold War released in 2020, by the time 2024 comes around, that's 4 years Treyarch have had to work on that game. Within that time, they could make so much zombies content. Granted, in between then, they have also made Vanguard zombies and Modern Warfare 2 zombies, but it's only a small portion of the development teams working on these modes. Most of these zombies devs are still working on their own game. For example, the main man, Kevin Drew, the boss, didn't work on Vanguard zombies at all. He has worked on Modern Warfare 3 zombies, but he completely skipped Vanguard, which meant all throughout that year he was working on his own title. So disregarding a few bumps here and there, Treyarch have had 4 years to work on Call of Duty 2024, their next zombies mode. That's actually longer than the amount of time they've had to work on previous titles, BO4, BO3. You can imagine how much content they would have been able to make within that time. If it takes 3 to 4 months to create a zombies map, and they've had 4 years, adding in now all of the mechanics and gameplay features that they usually implement into new games, which takes time. But if games like BO4 released with 4 zombies maps after 3 years of development, if games like BO3 released with 2 zombies maps after, I think it was 3 years of development, but BO2 had 2 years, if their next titles had 4 years, I can guarantee you 100% there will be at least 1 round-based zombies map on the day of release. If not 2, 3, maybe even 4. The only reason we had a lot of Outbreak content or alternates to round-based in the past few years was simply due to time. That's it. It's just easier for the developers to do. So if you are a round-based zombies player or you play it more than Outbreak, well, you can be happy because next year we will return to getting more round-based content than what we are used to getting as of late. And personally, I'm happy with that because zombies has been very rough over the past few years. There's been a lot of negativity. And the last time I really witnessed the community more together, I would say, where everyone was on the same page, was during BO3 and the beginning of BO4. Ever since Cold War, Vanguard, and now Modern Warfare 3, opinions on this game mode have been split, and the reason for that simply because of the content that this game mode's been receiving, which has been lackluster due to a lack of time. But that won't be a problem for next year. So if you don't like this year's zombies or you want it returned to what it used to be, well, I can guarantee you, I'm 99% sure, it will do next year. At least in the sense of round-based. There are other things that come into play with COD Zombies. It's not all about round-based. It's about actually having unique zombies content. For example, even though I don't like Outbreak, there are reasons for that. The reason I don't like it isn't because it's not round-based, it's not because it's something different, it's because it doesn't feel like Call of Duty Zombies. I always had the idea of making Transit an Outbreak map. How cool would that be? Outbreak would be 1,000,000 times better if we had maps specifically designed for the mode instead of being taken from multiplayer, if they actually felt like zombies maps. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the fact that it's not round-based and everything to do with that it just doesn't feel like zombies, a zombie mode. To me, it's always felt like a multiplayer mode with zombies. I love the idea of Outbreak. Imagine Transit was an Outbreak mode and we went around that map completing different objectives, going to the bus depot and having to, I don't know, hold off in the building, or going to the power station and having to transport something. All of the different missions and objectives that we've seen in Outbreak could be integrated into Transit in a really cool way to turn that into an Outbreak map, but we just haven't seen it yet. As a person that loves every aspect of COD Zombies, I want it to be the best it can be, and personally, I don't think Outbreak was quite that. If you're maybe not that heavily as invested into zombies, you don't really care about the lore, the storyline, the maps looking cool and unique and zombie specific, if you're not that interested in the characters, then you might love it. But having played this mode since 2008 and seeing what they can do and what you can get out of a zombies map, it was just a shame seeing Outbreak as zombies in its simplest form. Going from what it used to be to that for me was a downgrade. But with 4 years development time, that is a lot of time for Treyarch to vastly improve and make it a lot better. Honestly, I've always wanted an open world zombies. I've been saying it for years, ever since the rumours started. So I like the concept, I just don't think Outbreak did it right. So hopefully what we saw in Cold War was kind of like a practice for them, and they can use that to massively improve on it, alongside giving us round-based maps at the same time. What Treyarch need to do is, whereas instead of in Cold War it felt like Outbreak was substituting the lack of content for round-based maps, only having 4 instead of 6 or 8, Treyarch need to give us something like 8 round-based maps and a lot of Outbreak content as well, not one substituting the other. But yeah, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I've been seeing so much of this lately on Twitter or YouTube. People seeing Modern Warfare 3 Zombies and thinking that, well, that's the end of zombies then, no more round-based. But that's definitely not the case, and this year will probably be the last time this happens, which I can only say thank God, because I don't think I could have taken much more. And we've seen enough proof of that anyway. Charlie Intel tweeted, and this is really just a guess anyway, but they said, in regards to some of the negativity surrounding Modern Warfare Zombies, open world zombies is not replacing round-based forever. I mean, we knew that anyway. We got this tweet from Kevin Drew, who is pretty much the boss of zombies now, the guy who replaced Jason Blundell. He said this back at the end of 2021, where someone asked him, what if Forsaken was the last round-based map we ever get in zombies? And he said, what a terrible thought, no thanks. Again, we didn't need the confirmation because it's obvious round-based is not going anywhere. ever. That's always going to be what zombies is at its core, but I guess that's more of a confirmation, and I did kind of like this. I just found it as I was scrolling, trying to find Kevin's tweet, and I came across this one again from Pizza back in 2022, where he said, "Damn, I miss COD Zombies, feeling like it had passion put into it. Like you could physically feel the love, sweat and tears put into the projects produced by Jason Blundell, Lee Ross and Cameron Drayton." And Kevin Drew, who is now the boss of COD Zombies, back during Cold War's life cycle, he was responsible for Outbreak, I believe, doing the mechanics for that. He's now being promoted, but he replied to Pizza saying, "But for real, we still love making zombies, and I hope that we can hit on some of the things you think Cold War lacked in the next game." So a little bit of, I guess, reassurance that the developers are, I wouldn't say listening, but they know that there are some things that people didn't like in Cold War, or as he says here, there are some things that the zombies mode lacked in that game, being the amount of maps and just the feeling of zombies that wasn't quite there in that game, that they managed to capture perfectly in BO3, BO2, BO1, some of the BO4 maps. I do think Cold War missed out on atmosphere, feeling. They didn't quite hit the tone for me in that game, but I am 100% sure you can come back to this video in a year's time when the trailer releases that COD 2024, the zombies mode, I really do think it's going to return back to its glory. It will have round based, that shouldn't even be a question. It will have Outbreak. So all I would simply say is be excited. Whether you do or don't like Modern Warfare 3 Zombies this year, well, it's great if you do like it, because you should be getting a more better improved version next year, and if you don't like it, well, you've only got to wait a year to return back to that old style. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.